About Congress, I think we have to jump in and talk about this, something that not a lot of people seem to know about, that Congress can actually work outside of the Department of Justice and arrest people in certain situations where there's contempt of Congress. So what is this all about?
So a little bit of history here. So normally what happens, and we've seen it play out with the Steve Bannon case and the Peter Navarro case, Congress issues subpoenas because it has that ability to do so per the Constitution and the laws. These investigations, they can only be advanced by the issuance of all these subpoenas for documents and for witnesses. But what happens when a witness doesn't show up? Or what happens when the director of the FBI doesn't produce the documents under subpoena? It's a violation of a congressional subpoena. Well, thanks to the January 6th committee that's now been disbanded, we've seen the power of not just a congressional subpoena, but what should happen when it's violated, or if it's violated. It should be referred to the Department of Justice for immediate prosecution. That works when you have a Department of Justice that is not politicized. That's not going to work in this Department of Justice or this FBI with Garland and Wray, because they are not, in my opinion, going to take that matter seriously, or they're going to take it and say, we'll investigate it, we'll take a look and do nothing with it and not take it to federal court. And its prosecution must occur in federal court, like they did with the Steve Bannon trial. And so what happens when you don't have a Department of Justice who's willing to enforce the law unilaterally and not based on a two-tier system of justice? Our founding fathers thought of this. Our congressional history speaks directly to it. In my time in Russiagate, when we were the first committee to issue, I think something like 17 subpoenas in the House Intel Committee's history, we were investigating them. They were not providing us with the documentation. Of course, they weren't going to take a referral from Congress for a violation of a congressional subpoena. It had their names on it. So we researched it. And there is this rule of law that's called the inherent contempt of Congress powers, which basically means, and is set up for this precise scenario, if you can't trust the Department of Justice and or they won't do their job, the Speaker of the House, after a vote of the full Congress, can order the Sergeant at Arms, who's the #1 cop for Congress, to go and arrest individual citizens and government employees who violate congressional subpoenas. And they can be detained. They can go rent space at the D.C. jail, just like the FBI did for all the January 6th defendants, right? So there's places to house them. It's an extreme measure. I will give you that. But it was thought of for this very specific reason. So is this Speaker of the House and is this congressional leadership team going to be willing to exact that measure of justice if the DOJ and FBI aren't willing to do it? That's the question. After they've already violated congressional subpoenas, which I believe they will do because they will delay and deflect and not produce documents and hope to run out the clock, as is their normal practice with this DOJ and FBI. So that's just one example where Congress has this inherent power to basically adjudicate matters of congressional subpoenas that have been violated themselves.
Has this ever been done?
Not that I could find in history, though you'd have to ask someone smarter. It might have been done once, and I just don't know.
A fascinating new bit of information, and it will certainly add a little bit of intrigue to everything we're seeing happen in Congress right now.